All right, it says the essential question, what are we learning today? We're learning what is a trend line, which we already learned yesterday, and how can I use it to make predictions from scatter plots. A trend line is a line that best describes, write that down, describes or fits the data in a scatter plot. A trend line is a line that best describes or fits the data in a scatter plot. Please write that down. Trend lines can be used to make predictions about the data. So y'all remember the example I showed y'all with the snow cone shop. If I owned a snow cone shop and I want to predict how many snow cones I'm going to sell today, I use my scatter plot that I've made in the past to say, hey, if the temperature is going to be 85 degrees outside, about how many should I sell? And I would use that scatter plot and the trend line to make that prediction. To draw a trend line, draw a line in the middle of all the points. Write that down. In the middle of all the points that is going in the same direction as your data. You should have about the same amount of points above your line as you do below your line. I'm going to zoom in so y'all can see that better. You should have the same amount of points above your line as you do below your line. All right, so I want y'all to look at the following trend line. The following scatter plots. All right, so look at these three scatter plots. Let's first just talk about them. What kind of trend are you seeing here? Positive. How do y'all know it's positive? Because it's moving up from left to right. And is it also linear? Yes. What kind of trend are you seeing here? Negative. And what kind of trend are you seeing here? Positive. Do you see how I can move my finger in the direction the dots are going, and that's going to tell me if it's going up from left to right, it's positive. If it's going down from left to right, it's negative. The way that I would move my finger to show the trend is kind of how you're going to draw your trend line. So we're going to practice drawing a trend line. Now, the way that I used to teach this back when we didn't take tests online and we were allowed to give our students rulers. So we used to practice drawing straight lines through it with a ruler. If you don't have a straight line, you can use the side of your calculator lid. Okay, so just to get a straight line, if y'all would get that. All right, so if I want to draw a good trend line, what does it say? I'm going to draw a line in the middle of my points that goes in the same direction, but I need to make sure there's just as many points above my line as there are below. So everybody watch. If I put my ruler here, is that going to be a good trend line? Can y'all see that? No. Why? There's no points on this side. If I put it over here, there's too many on the upper side. So I've got to put it right through the line, kind of like this. Oh, I did not mean for that to go crooked. And if I was doing this, I would probably want to use a pencil where if the line doesn't look good, I can erase and start over. Do I have just as many dots above as below? Yes. All right, let's try this one. Y'all should all be practicing making a trend line. Are ours always going to be exactly perfectly the same? No, but it should be very, very close, okay? And then this last one, there's more dots, so make sure that you get just as many above as below. And no, you do not always start at 0, 0. Did this one start at 0, 0? No. This one did just because it happened to be there. Okay? This one did not either. It did not start at 0, 0. Now again, on your assignment today, you're not going to be able to draw the trend line because it's online. You're going to have to use your finger to see where you think it would go. So we're going to try to answer these questions just using our fingers, okay? Did y'all get y'all's trend lines drawn here? All right, look at number 1. Number 1 says, the graph shows the average number of hours a group of 13 middle schoolers watch Netflix and sleeps. A says, what is the best prediction of the number of hours a middle schooler would sleep if they watch 2 hours of Netflix? So everybody go, where's Netflix at? On the x-axis or y-axis? All right, so where am I going to go? To 2. You're going to have to imagine a trend line being here. Everybody look how I'm moving my fingers. Do y'all see it? All right. If I was to go over, so if I drew a trend line, it's going to be something like that. If I go over and down on that trend line, I'm somewhere between 7 and 8, but probably closer to 7, yes? All right, so it says, what is the best prediction on the number of hours they're going to get of sleep? About 7 hours of sleep. All right, the next question says, what is the best prediction of the number of hours a middle schooler would watch Netflix if they sleep for 8 hours? So everybody go to 8 hours of sleep. So which axis am I going to? Which axis am I going to? 8. And I mean, like, if I continue this trend, they're down here. Y'all see that? So where am I at on the y-axis? Between 0 and 1. What would y'all's guess be between 0 and 1? I can't hear y'all.
30 minutes.
About 30 minutes, or 0.5 of an hour. Y'all are right. I just can't hear. So 30 minutes or 0.5 hours. Doesn't that mean the same thing? So do y'all see how this is going to be challenging if you can't draw a trend line on the computer? You're going to have to take your finger and move it to where you think it would cross. Do y'all see what I'm saying? All right, let's go to number 2. What are we comparing here? On the x-axis is what?
Number of guests.
Number of guests. What's on the y-axis? Cost of caterer. Is this graph going positive or negative? Yeah, it's kind of not super close together, but it's still moving in an upward direction. So take your finger. If I was to move, it would look something like this. Yes? Are you all good? All right, it says, what is the best prediction for the catering cost for a 100-person wedding? So everybody find where it would be a 100-person wedding. Which axis am I going to go to? So here's 100. Now, you can't just go up. You're going to have to move your finger. So everybody take your finger. Go like this all the way till you get to where 100 is. Do y'all see where I'm at? Somewhere up here. Yes? So if I go like this, when I get to 100, I'm somewhere up here. So about how much money do we think that would cost? Right under 1,000. So what y'all's guess? 900. Yeah, about 950, 920, 9 something. And remember, on the STAR test, these will be multiple choice. So you're picking the closest answer. All right, let's look at part B. What is the best prediction for the number of guests if the wedding costs $200? So everybody, which axis are we going to go to? The Y. Now, you're not going over here. If I was to go with this dot, like this way, I'm going to be right in here when I get to 200, yes? So like somewhere in this area, that would follow that trend. Are y'all seeing? So about where am I at on the x-axis? Between 0 and 20 is what? 10-ish? So about 10 guessed. All right, number 3. What are we comparing here? Items purchased to total cost. All right, it says, based on the data shown, which of the following is the best prediction for the total cost if they purchase 7 items at the farmer's market? So I want y'all to try to see if you can get it right on your own. You're going to have to take your finger and move it through the graph until you get to where 7 is. All right, let's look at it. You should have gone to 7 items. So here's 0, here's 2. So what would be here? 1. So they're counting by 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This would be 7. So if I move my finger like this and I get to 7, I'm somewhere up in here. Yes? Maybe a little down. So I'm right below 40. I'm not above 40. Do y'all agree? So which answer is closest? 37. How did y'all do? All right, let's do one more example, and then you'll be on your own. All right, what's on the x-axis? Distance from the hoop. So we're talking about basketball. What's on the y-axis? Number of baskets made. All right, it says based on the data shown, which of the following is the best prediction for the distance Jimmy was from the hoop if he made 3 baskets? So you're going to have to figure out, are you going to the x-axis or y-axis? I want to see everybody doing it. I want to see everybody doing it. All right, which axis would you have gone to find 3 baskets? The y-axis, so right here. If I move my finger in the direction of this trend, when I get to 3, I'm like somewhere in this area. Do y'all agree? So which answer would be closest? 13. How did we do? Now, again, on the real STAR test, you're going to have a tool called a line tool. And you're going to actually be able to click your mouse, like pretend this is my mouse, this pen. I'm going to be able to click here, hold my mouse, and drop it down here, and it's going to make a line. But I don't have anything with that for y'all to practice, okay? All right, if you would log into the Google Classroom, your assignment's going to be on there, and I will check your answers today, and then you will submit.